So I'm sharing my screen. Let me know once it is visible. Okay. So
Yeah, I can see it.
okay. Yeah. Hi, Sarisha. This is
Hey
Anush.
there.
So welcome to the demo session of SAP C4C Technical Training. So first, I will go through the contents of this training, and then we will cover a few topics. And I will just give a demo of how to create a custom view, custom screens, and then the embedded component, like if the time permits. So yeah. So coming to the course content, mainly we have a introduction to the SAP C4C based on for the technical side, like introduction to the Cloud Application Studio. So I will just give you an overview and how the system environment, like we have 3 tenant architecture, or some companies go with the 2 tenant architectures. So like a dev tenant, test, and the production tenant. So that one will cover in this course. And then how to install the SDK, and then the initial setup and the creation of a solution. We can have this in the content. So next, coming to the we have an introduction to the BODL and ABSL. So here the BODL is nothing but a definition language for the custom views. So it's mainly used for the business object definitions, and ABSL is a scripting language, so which we will use it for the any logic implementation under the business object. So in this we will cover like application development, small application development, and then the introduction of the BODL, like what are the components, like how this scripting language works, and then coming to the ABSL, like how this programming language, like you can say it as like that, like what all the loops we have, like if, while, and other things will come under this ABSL language. And then we have like actions and events for the BOs, custom BOs, and the standard BOs that we will going to explain. And then the annotations, there is a concept like which we have to which we have defined in the business object. So we will cover all this course in the content. So yeah, next is an introduction to the UI designer. This here we will cover the basics of UI designer, like type of a screen and the creation of a custom OVS, and then the basic testing, and then the in the UI, like how the screens will be visible, and yeah, what are the actions we once we click on a button, what happens in the backend, and then the any error messages or the warning messages that we will check in this UI designers. And then yeah, coming to the business configuration, we have a business configuration, like we can use it to define like dynamic code list, and then so we have to maintain the values in the front end, like fine tuning activities. So those two concepts will be covered in the business configuration side. And the next is the service integration. So here we have a different type of web service. Like web service, it's nothing but a creation of a service, which, like, let's say if you have a custom Vivo, you want to expose it to external system. So there is a way, like the web service, we can create it for our custom Vivo, and we can share it with the external system, though they can integrate with our system. And there is a concept of internal communication. So like we have a different types of deployment units in our system. So like in SAP C4C. So if we want to communicate between the cross deployment units, we have to go with this internal communication. So we will go deep into that internal communications and the course. And then we have a external web service. Like if we want to consume the any web service or a REST APIs which where the external systems are exposing, so we have to go with the external web service integration. And then we will test it via the external tool, like maybe a SOAP-UI or a Postman, and then the tracing and debugging of a solution. So these things we will cover in uh, this course. Like any doubts till now, Sarisha, or can I continue?
Regarding the service integration, would you be covering the SOAP and OData, the REST and the SOAP services?
Yeah, Sarisha, Rust and SOAP we can cover. Yeah, like we can create one Yeah, both we can go with like rest. Anyhow, that website like SOAP UI, it's deprecated by SAP. So like maybe we will go with the basics, like how it works and all. Maybe we'll just focus on more
Okay.
on the OData because like now SAP suggests to go with the OData because like that is deprecated. So yeah, like we can see some examples and then focus more on OData thing like REST API
Okay.
call.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think we are also mostly using OData. I haven't seen SOAP being used so far, but yeah, we are
Yeah, but
using
like
web services.
standard, yeah,
Standard
standard
ones, I
ones
think,
we have to go with the SOAP UI, that was already
yeah, the
implemented. I
standard
think
is
that's true.
using SOAP. Yeah.
Yes. So we'll just go through like how to trigger the like let's say you want to create a customer or activity in C4C using that SOAP UI, like we will just try to create one. So that
Okay.
SOAP UI we can just explore, like in the testing from the SOAP UI perspective. Okay. So next, yeah, then we will also cover up on the extensibility part for the standard business object for the creation of a extension of the fields, and then if we have to create any embedded component to show those fields in some other places and all, we can cover those, and then we will have this process extension scenario. This is to uh, like we have these two scenarios here. One is to, let's say we have created one field in lead and we want to extend it to opportunity and a sales code. That time we can go with the process extension scenario, and this one will be used to extend any uh, custom field which you have created in a XPO, right, to extend it to a web service. So we can so this is will be useful in those scenarios. We'll have an example and we'll go deep into that. And next is a mass data run. So this MDR is nothing but a like schedule of a job. Let's say you want to daily run some actions or gen, like compile some object data and do some calculation or something like that, like with the scheduled jobs. So this one we can use, like maybe one example is, let's say you want to send some data to external system with the all the list of accounts and then the data related to that accounts in a daily manner. So those things we can design it through a mass data run. So it is a scheduled job which will which we can schedule daily, weekly, or monthly based on our requirements. So then we will cover then the analytics content, mainly the data source and the reports. So data source, if a custom data source we are creating, like we can create that data source from the backend. And yeah, extension of a data source, like if it is any standard data source for the customer and all, we can extend it via PDI. So these two concepts we will cover in the analytics side. And coming to the notification, yeah, the approval process and then the translation. The approval process, let's say like for the standard, we can configure it in a UI itself. For any custom view, let's say we want to show some notifications and all, like we have to build it in a custom. So those things we will cover here. Translation is nothing but like to translate the like text into the another languages, like let's say from English to Germany and so on. So those things we will cover up. Yeah, and then mashups. We have like majorly we are using HTML mashup and URL mashup. So these two things mashups we will cover. And lifecycle management. Let's say you have developed a solution in a dev tenant, like how to assemble, download that solution in dev tenant, and we'll cover like how we can upload it to a test or a production tenant, and then how to activation of those solution. And then in non-development systems, like we can do a quick fix. Let's say like you have some script file, so only one or two lines is causing an issue after a movement to a production or a non-environment non-dev system. So we can have an option to directly fix the code in a production system. So that part we will cover it up. And then yeah, other important topics like the bad implementation. So this bad implementation mainly used for uh, like recipe and determination for the workflows. And then let's say if we don't want to send some data to an external system, so those concepts like we will cover it in bad implementations. So in this field transformation, yeah, this is also one of the important topic. Let's say, uh, like you want to show some, like let's say in UI, you want to get the login users org unit or a sales unit in the UI screen. So those type of things, like we can do it in a field transformation. Like we will check the go through that like once the course started. And then we have a standard and custom reuse libraries. Like there is some standard libraries provided by SAP, for example like date, and then the mm, like this binary object and all those things we will cover up, and like how we will go through how to create a custom reuse libraries in SDK tenant from our end. So these are the course content which I have drafted. So anything like you want to add, Sirisha, like you want, maybe then I can add and explain those things as well if anything is
So,
missing here.
as part of the bad implementation,
Hmm.
I know maybe you just put only the main
Yeah,
topics,
there
but
is just,
underneath
yeah.
that, so you have enhancement implementations, right?
Hmm.
Within Service Cloud, where you extend the standard BO, then you have to add some underneath code, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
that will come under this one, extension of standard object. Like let's say you want to create some fields under a ticket and add them to the web service and all, like this will be covered here, like extension
okay.
enhancements.
And
Yeah.
regarding the mashup, um,
Hmm.
so we use HTML URL. So we are for the mashups we are configuring Fury applications. So would that fall under HTML or
Sorry, I
a
didn't get,
URL?
like you are consuming a Fiori application inside a
Yes,
C4C, is it?
right, right.
Okay, then it will come under a HTML mashup, like in screen, anything like inside a C4C if you are showing, that will be an HTML mashup. Let's say
Okay,
URL mashup is just a link in a C4C, like just a
right,
field.
right.
So once you click on it, like it will go to a new page. So yeah, those things we can configure in HTML mashups.
And regarding the screen extensibility, you will also cover the model dialog box, right?
Yeah, yeah. So those
Okay,
things, like all those things will come under a embedded component itself. Like we can go through those things. Like yeah,
okay.
this is just a main overview of a content. Like when you go deep, like there will be a many objects like under those UI designer. So once I have a system, like I can show you all the things like which I'll have. So then yeah, we'll get an idea. Or like if anything is missing, like you can ask me. Like I will get that info and explain it
Yeah, yeah,
to you. Not an
sure.
issue.
I mean, a lot of like basic stuffs I know, like how to install Cloud Application
Mhm.
Studio and all. I mean,
Okay.
I'm the one who keeps getting it installed for every of my developers. But
Okay.
the thing is, but
Uh,
it's good you cover. Maybe I may not know some of the basics. It's good I just refresh. But um,
mhm.
regarding the ABCL,
ABSL scripting. Yeah.
so is there any prerequisites for me to
Mhm.
understand this ABCL better? Is there something I need to prep from
Mm.
myself, or do you recommend something where I should go and look for me to better understand this? Because I've gone through SAP help. I It's
Yeah.
there, but I really don't 100% follow because when I see my developers coding, it's
Mhm.
more extensive. I really don't follow their code
Yeah,
completely.
so yeah, like
Eh,
you will not get complete documentation on ABSL scripting. Like if you know some basics of Java or any programming language, then you can like compare it with it. Mostly we will be using the loops in the ABSL scripting. And one more thing is like objects, like let's say BOs we have, right? So you need to understand like how the BO structure works. Then the ABSL code, like you can understand. Like maybe I will show an okay. So yeah, I will show you some example, like so that like how to go through the ABSL script maybe. But currently, yeah, I can't show it here because of the
you
like
don't have
this
any system.
recording.
Okay.
Yeah, no, no system I have, but this session is being recorded and like all the content we will have it, right? Like the tenant ID and all. So
Okay.
maybe, yeah, I will take some screenshots and show it to you and explain the code, like how it is working. Maybe that is also, yeah, we can do.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you can
So
show me then later when you will actually start the training, right?
yes, yes, yeah. So yeah, as part of the demo, like I just added two concepts here. Like one is to explain like what is SAP Cloud Application Studio, and one demo of creating a custom Vivo and a screens. So yeah, so in this unit objective, like we have like after this completion of this unit, like you will be know how to, like what is SAP Cloud Application Studio and what is a like system environment, and then the system architecture, like how we have using this cloud application studio, and then the what are the things we have in that SDK, like PDA, cloud application studio, what are the important buttons or the things, like we will go through those each and all. So yeah, SAP Cloud Application Studio is a platform as a service, is the software development kit from SAP. Like it is based on the Microsoft Visual Studio. So it will mainly we will use it to develop any custom things which we want to extend it as part of SAP C4C. So yeah, we will use SAP Cloud Application Studio to build. First, like we will use it to build and test it in a test tenant. Once the development is done and all the testing is okay, then we will assemble and download the solution from the dev tenant, and then we will deploy into a other like a quality or a production tenant where the customers or a business user can do a like production tenant any other customers can use, and then a quality tenant maybe if they have, then they can go with the user testing. So the cloud application studio, like we will mainly use it for the development, and then the like any custom things which we are doing, all the things will come up under the cloud application studio. So yeah, it's just an overview of a cloud application studio. Like it's based on the Microsoft Visual Studio. So here in the application studio, like from SAP side, we will have something called as a repository explorer. Maybe if you have explored, so that this is a main thing. Like main, I can say like to understand the C4C better. So it will give all the business objects which are standard, like which are available in a C4C. So like if you want to navigate through some object, let's say in a customer, we have some fields, address fields, let's say email. So how we want to get that email details in a backend to compare. Let's say we want to compare like if the email is a valid or not in a PDI solution. So how to it's difficult like if you just check the UI and we can't code it in backend. So this repository explorer which helps in understanding the how the structure of a customer is built, so that you can go through each and everything like of association and then get where that field is, then you can code it easily. So this PSM layer will help in understanding like how the standard BOs are structured. So yeah, like in Cloud Application Studio, we have an end-to-end software lifecycle management, like to build and then assemble, download, and we can create a patch solution once the solution is deployed. So we will have a original solution and a patch solution. So once the development and patch solution is created, we can't work on a original solution. We have to do all the changes in a patch solution, and once we assemble that, like that, changes will move to original solution. Like so, this is the software lifecycle management, and we have um, some pre-built uh, object like which are provided by SAP to use just to drag and drop in the UI designer. And then like we have a wizard, like let's say if you want to create any of the items, right? Like there is an inbuilt wizard like which will help you to design it quickly. Let's say like if you want to do a query, create a query, there are predefined steps which you can just go through, and then once you click on OK, then the query will be created. So this are all the main features of Cloud Application Studio. So yeah, so these are all the key features of Cloud Application Studio. Like here we can define a business object, and then the scripting languages using the events and the actions we can define. The user UI interfaces, we can do it like a QC screen, TI screens, all the things. And then the web service, yeah, like SOAP and REST service we can do. So these are all the main like course content which we have, right? Same things like we all the things we have to be doing it in a cloud application studio itself. And some screens will navigate to a UI as well. So there we have to log in with the PDI user and configure that in a UI itself. So those things we will, yeah, go through in the course once we have. So yeah, coming to the demo. So for today, I just like we will create one custom view which stores the workshop data of the customer. Let's say for customer, we want to create a workshop. So this is a custom requirement which we have from a client. So let's say we have some fields which are from the custom viewer. So workshop ID, it's a unique identifier which defines like let's say if the customer have a 10 or more workshop data, so it's a unique distinguisher to have it as a ID, and the workshop name, like when the workshop is conducted, whether the status, like which is if it is planned or completed or in progress. So those these are the fields which are used to mainly store the data. So we'll just see how this we can create it in a custom view. So like, and then the business logic, like we have to update the total cost. So here we have a participants and the number of attendees. So once we create it, like total cost has to be calculated based on these two fields, right? Like how to write these in a logic in a basis script we will see. And then we will create screens like a QCTI and OWL screen for the view, and create an embedded component to show the data in a customer. Let's say we have a customer TI screen, right? There we want to show this workshop data. For this customer, these are the workshop data available. So we will just go through it and do it in system. As like I have a limitation to I have not yet got the system yet, so I will just show it in the other sandbox which I have. So yeah, so coming to the BODL, like business object, let's say are you familiar with the database series like this DBMS concept?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
familiar with that.
so maybe like you can link it to that. Like business object is nothing but a table in a database. Let's say like you have some elements in the database, right? Like it's a business object is nothing but a table in the database, so which will have some elements, and then the alternative key, like which is a unique distinguisher for that business object, and then the tree structure, like let's say one node, and then sub nodes, and so on like that. So mainly it consists of elements and nodes. So yeah, and the messages is this thing, like we can define it in a business object to show, like let's say if there is any errors or warnings, those kind of things, like we have to define it in a business object, then you have to use it in a script. So BODL is mainly used to structure the business object. So like what are the fields required, and what are the nodes, and what are the actions. Like let's say we have this action here, right? Total cost calculation. So these things and all, like we just define it here, and then in the ABSL script, we will use it for the calculation of those things. Okay. Uh, okay. So I was talking about this repository explorer, right? Like as this is demo tenant, I have some restrictions. I can't show that real tenant because like I have that ID in the cloud application studio. So I have just taken this out from the tool. So this will be visible under the view. Like there is a menu called view, right? Under there you have a repository explorer. So here you can see like it lists all the business objects that are uh, given by a SAP. So here you have like all the data types which we can use it in a PDI, and then the enhancement option, that baddie and all, like we can see like what are all the baddies like we get from the C4C. So we mainly use these two, like business object and the data types. So let's say I have given one example, right? Like in the customer, you want to refer the email in some scripting script file. So just a customer here. So this is a structure of a customer, like you can see, right? Under customer, we have many fields and the associations. Like association is nothing but like that's a one node or a business object which is linked to the this customer object using a association. So here, like let's say we want an email, so that will be under a address information. So here you can, if you over on that, like you can see this multiplicity, right? 0 to *. This means like they can have n number of address informations for the customer. So and under the address, there is an address information. There is a address here. So under here we have the default email, and then this is the email content. So if you just check the UI, like it will be difficult to get like where this field, like how to get that email field exactly. So in the back end, like we have this repository explorer, which will help you to navigate to that field. Like so in our coding, let's say, yeah. So this custom BO will create. So here, this is a solution which I have created for the demo purpose. So I will just show you like under this, I have created one folder. Under this folder, custom BOs, like we will add a new folder, let's say workshop. So this structure will help in easy to navigate to the our solution. Like we can directly create an item under the solution, but to structure our solution like neatly, like so that like we can refer it like quickly. So we will use with the
Right.
folders.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's what we do. Like we create custom BO folder, then we create a BCO
Yes.
folder, we create
Yeah.
a enhancement implementation. So that's more structured. Actually, we know where.
Structured way, so that like
Yeah.
if you want to just navigate through, like we can just ignore, like let's say if you want to go with the standard BOs, we will have one folder here, standard BOs. So we can completely ignore what all the custom BOs like here, or else it will list in the same like solution. So that's why like we will go with this. Yeah, new item. So here, so we have a business object, like we will name it as a workshop. So it's creating, I think. So once we have this BO, so this is a file which was generated from this workshop BO. So this is a file like which we will maintain as elements and the nodes like which related to this workshop. So here you can see like root, it's giving an error saying like root node must contain one element. So we will just define our elements here, element workshop ID. So it's a element workshop ID, like if we plus control space, right? It will show like what are all the data types it's available in a system. So yeah, so these are all the data types based on the requirements, or like um, if you want to do it like include with the accounts, right? Like then we will go with this data types, and the same data type we can use it here. So for now, I will just go with the ID data type. So element workshop ID, element workshop name. So here we have like for custom BOs, we have a language independent. So this medium name, short name, like we have these things to based on the length restriction. So we can check these things in a repository explorer. Let's say the max length they want is a 80 characters or a 40 characters. Based on that, like we can define the names here. So I will just go with the medium name, and then what else?
So quick question, Dhanush. So
Yeah.
when you are defining this data element, like if you look
Hmm.
back in ECC, right, you can
Hmm.
actually go to S11 and put the data element and know what is the length of this, right? So
Yes.
here, how do you know like for this one, this is 80 characters?
Okay. That's what, like, all the things. This is a main, like, you can refer everything in this repository explorer. Okay, so here data types. If you go, like, let's say academic title code, right? If it is any restriction, you can get it here. Like max length is 4.
Where do you
Let's
see
say,
that? Like for this one, what you copy, like language?
yeah, yeah, that's what I will just search it here. Like all the data types will be listed here. Okay, language independent medium name, right? So if I search here, so here we have a different namespaces. Like this is one is deprecated common data types. So you can see here, right? Like this is deprecated. So there is another one global data type. So this is released. So this short text, like it's a max length of 40. If we
You
define
click
it this
the
field
above
with
one. So there are two which shows on your screen.
uh-huh,
So when you click the below one, it shows it's been deprecated. Did you
deprecated, yeah,
click?
because this is a namespace is deprecated by SAP, so we can't use it. So that's why, like here in the business object, right, there is a import statement. It is just like importing of a namespace, AP common GDT. So here you can see it.
Okay. Okay,
So
this
this
is
one,
the common. So we cannot use this namespace. Okay, so which one did you select then for the common G? In your left side,
this is the
uh,
first one.
first one you selected.
Yeah,
Okay.
like if all the things will be listed, so we will get to know whether it's a deprecated or like we can use it. Everything we will get to know here. Like if something is not working in the scripting, right, you can come here. Maybe the namespace is missing. Like if I remove this namespace, right, it will give an error saying like this is not known.
Right.
So we want to import that namespace so that we can use it. Let's say if there is any discrepancies, right, then we have to use this solution. Like if we import the GDT as this one as well, common data types, so we can give it as an alliance saying like this, like a P common GDT language independent. So it will go to this namespace and take the name from there. If we have a multiple
Okay.
namespace, like that's field available in a multiple spaces. So like this,
Okay, you define the
we can,
alias for that
yeah.
namespace. Okay.
Hmm. So so I will just create a few things here. Then, so
While you're
here
doing
we have.
that, while
Mhm.
you're doing that, just quick question. So, have you worked on modularizing the your scripts or code, your custom code? Like, mean to say, uh,
Sin-
you have a folder where you put all your methods and everything, and then
mhm,
in
mhm.
your AVCM you
No, no,
call
no.
it.
In C4C, that's what, like everything will be related to a BO. We can't have a
Yeah, yeah.
separate,
So
like that
BO
will
is
come
there.
under reuse libraries.
No, no,
So,
not the standard one. Like you have created like how in ABAP.
mhm, mhm.
I don't know if you have ABAP experience or you worked in ABAP previously, but usually
Okay.
you have the methods, right? Global, you create a custom class, and then those class and methods can be reused in multiple places or a function module.
Yeah.
So similar to that,
Yes,
um,
similar to that, we have a concept of this reuse libraries.
re- libraries,
So,
yeah, like custom
yeah.
ones.
So here we have this reuse library. So if we create this, right, it will, under this library we can define some script files.
Yeah, the
So
commonly
those
used files, right? So
methods, yeah,
methods
those we
which
can
we
store
can.
it here. That's what, like we will store it and like uh, we'll just create one folder and create that reuse libraries and whatever the, okay, I will show you one maybe.
No, you can show me later. I'm just asking. Just
Yeah,
you
that
can show
we
me
can, we will
one.
structure
Yeah.
it under that folder, and then we will
Mm.
have a that reuse library. There we will have like script files. Maybe wait, I will just show you here. Like for now, like we will just define this element. number of. So here it's a number value, so we can check it as number value, and then element cost per person. Cost per person, we can take it as a quantity currency. So we'll just go with the amount. Okay, so once we have a BO defined, we can save and activate this file. So the structure is defined. This one we will do it in a BO. Let's say like if you want to add a new element, for now like we just added a 5 elements, but here in our example we have other fields as well, right? Like let's say the status and the other things. So those things like we can add it up later in as per the like going forward, or like yeah.
So, quick question. So, when you're creating a BO,
Mhm.
is it not mandatory to have at least one element defined as
Alternative
alternate?
key.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, like here if you want, like we can define it by default. There is a type of an UUID which SAP is creating for each node. So if you
Okay.
define an alternative key, like it will be an alternative key. If you don't define anything, like there is a UUID, some like object ID, so that will be a unique for each node, that we will take it as an alternative key.
So, what's the best practice? Do you depend on SAP, or
uh,
is it good to have ourselves created one
It
alternate?
depends on the requirement. Let's say now, like for the one customer, they can have a multiple workshop records. So in that case, account ID will be a unique key, right? Like one account for one account. So many workshop IDs can be present. Like if you have any alternative key which we can use, that we can use, or else we can just go with the. Uh, Mostly depends on the requirement. So
Okay.
best practice is to use with the alternative key, because like we will have a control. Like this UID is some random generated
Correct.
36 characters. So if we have, yeah, like we can define one alternative key, so that like if you want to query or retrieve data based on the like our thing, like we can retrieve it instead of going with the SAP provided one. So we can, like,
Okay.
let's say if the alternative key is not defined, like we can anytime define it as an alternative key. So that is not a problem. So yeah, once we have it, uh, and the working in this, it will take some time to save and activate. That's the only thing. So once we activate it, like if you want to use this checkout, like here you have a red symbol, right? It is means like checkout or checked out for a multiple users can work on a single solution. Like let's say you have two developers working on a same solution. So
Mm-hmm.
if I check out a solution, right, like I am using this BO, so other person can't edit it. So once you have done your work, you have to check in the file here. So you have an option check in content, so it will be pushed to a cloud again. So you will see this mark one. So once the BO is done, so here the other thing like which we have for demo is to update the total cost. Okay, based on number of participant and price. So this one.
So,
Uh,
on the multiple users working, so
mhm.
if I log in into demo solution and you log in into demo solution, I can still
Yeah.
go and edit some other custom BOs, but not the
Yes.
one
Yes.
which you are working. Okay.
Yeah. Like once if it is checked out, like that person can't edit that file, so they have to check in. Then the other person can use.
Okay. Got it.
So I have defined the total cost as well. So here we have some predefined events from a SAP side. Like let's say um, once you are in a screen, right, like in a UI, if you are going to edit mode of that instance, like you have the field. So once you edit some field, then some event will trigger. So I'll just show you here, like create script file. This one we will use to create the script file. There will be a predefined scripts. So here you can see, right? So these are all the predefined. After modify, when it will trigger, like let's say you want changing some data in the system. Once the field is changed, like this after modify will get triggered. So event before save. So once you click on that save button in a UI, so this event will trigger event before save. Event on delete, it will trigger when you are deleting some instance in a UI. So validation on save, this event will check like the any validations which we have. Let's say we have a workshop name, it will be mandatory if we are not defining it in a UI, but we want to throw an error message saying, or else like let's say total cost. So if the workshop has a total cost less than some 10,000 euros or something like that, we have to throw an validation, like you can't save because the total cost is very less, something like that. If you want to define any messages, we can go with the validation on save, so that based on the calculated logic, we can throw the error messages.
So, quick question. So, anytime we create a custom BO,
Hmm.
uh, it's all you always will have a ABCL and the screens behind the scene, right? You cannot just create custom BO.
We can just create like all the things we have to create it if we are going with the custom BOs. So I've just defined a structure here, but there is no events at all in the it will be running. So
It's a
just
dead
the
structure if you
structure.
don't create anything,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yes.
But
So everything we have to create in a PDI. So let's say
but
I will enable this before. Yeah.
but let's say, see, if you look in our ABAP, right,
Mhm.
there is a table you can define and there is a structure also you can define. The structure doesn't hold any data, right? Do you have similar concept here where I'm just defining the structure, but I don't want to have the data. I just need only the structure.
No, we don't have those things. Like it will store a data in the business object. There is no structure thing. Like we have something as a concept of in the data model just to store the temporary data in that. Like if we don't bind it to any database BO field, then it will have just a temporary data that is there in
And
a
you
UI
just
designer. But
create like a transient field of
yeah,
element.
transient fields we can create. Yes.
Okay. And in your events, what does this mass enable checkbox represent? If
Mass
I check,
enabled, yeah. So this mass enabled will be used like it's let's say you are doing some data upload or something, right? Like if we have 100 or 10,000 thousands of data in a single file and you are uploading. So if we have this file as a mass enabled, like all the instead of triggering a instance one at a time, it will go through a loop and execute all the BOs in a single instance. Like if we enable this mass enable, there is a okay instance called like this. This will refers to a BO. Like we have a keyword this. Okay. So
hmm
if we enable the mass enabled, right, it will be a collection of objects. So if we disable this mass enabled, it's just a one instance. Oh, maybe I will show you here once it's created. Mm,
you meant to
So
say if a BO holds like 10 workshop IDs,
yeah, we can
so would
update
that
it.
trigger for every 10 of them? Is that what
Uh,
you meant?
Yeah, that will be mostly we will use this mass enabled in a MDROs, like in the mass data runs. So let's say we want to run all the thousand workshops, like we want to update some data in a workshop, right? Like mass update.
Mm-hmm.
So in that time it will be used so that like instead of running a script file multiple times, it will trigger the before save of one event. Here we will have a collection of the objects. So here you can see, right? This refers to a workshop instance. Okay,
Okay.
if we mass enable this, then it will be a, uh collection of like here you all the elements will be listing. So you can node ID. So this is a just one instance. Okay, so let's say I will enable mass enable this. So here this refers to collection of objects. So here you can see, right, like guest first or get by index. So it will fetch multiple instances at a time. So here we are not getting the what nodes, that elements directly. So we will have like first thing we need to do is for each where workshop in this. So here this is a collection, right? Now like we can have this workshop dot. So here you can see these are the elements. So that's what, like if we mass enable it, it will be a collection of objects instead of just one instance. Maybe
So
going
yeah, I
through
know.
MDR at that time you
This
will
is
get an
yeah, this is where I struggle
instance.
when you say I know that for each where workshop it's like a loop you're doing there, but
Mhm, mhm.
yeah, I think I have to understand. So is workshop is your custom BO or just a
It's just a
variable or it's a
variable,
local structure?
we are
It's a
local
work area.
variable we are referring. Yeah.
So it's a work area in the table. I
It's
always
just
relate
one
this
instance.
to
Like we
my
can define whatever we want, like here, where it's
mm,
just a temporary variable. That's it.
okay.
So it's just a dot. Like if we queue, then we'll get all the details.
It's like looping your internal table in a work area, right?
Yes. So here you can see that all the fields are coming. So this mass enabled, that's what, like mainly used, like we will not create this mass enabled fields events regularly. Like if we use any MDRs or if it is a huge data via data workbench uploads, if we are doing, then only we will go with the mass enabled, or else we will just go with the without a mass enabled, so that we can directly refer to that instance without going through a loop. That's the only difference. Like for the mostly used for a MDR was and the mass uploads if it is mass
Okay.
okay, how I can. So yeah, so here if as of now, like we have mass enabled it, right? Like this variable A stores one instance. In that, if total cost, what we want to do, like number of participants, total cost dot content maybe. So it's a amount. So this field content has like structure like currency and an amount.
So whenever you have structure like amount and currency, that's when you
Mhm.
use the dot content. Otherwise, like
Yes,
oh, okay. So otherwise, if
dot
I have to
con
refer to the workshop ID, I just use a dot workshop ID.
workshop ID. Yeah, that's a string field. If that in that also we have a different types. Like just if it is a some ID also, there also like dot content will come for some fields that will be defined in the repository explorer. We can check.
Okay. So there is a
So
way
yeah.
we can know like when to use a content and when not.
Yes, yeah. And the content, like, yeah, mostly we use if we want to do it for a like final thing in that thing. Maybe like I can explain you once, like just a demo for this. I've prepared this because I don't have a complete tenant access. I can't show you the UI and all. That's the issue. Like if you compare it with the UI and PDI both, right, at the same time, then you will get some idea like how it works. So
Yeah,
here,
sure.
total
Yeah.
cost will be a number of participants into cost per person dot content. So for now, like so once the any workshop we are saving, let's say like we are creating one workshop, this total cost will be a automatic calculation we will be doing from a backend using the how many number of participants multiplied by the cost per the person. So this information we will store it in the total cost content. So yeah, this is about like basic demo of the custom BO and the script file. So here we have, if we want to define that currency code, like we can for now, like we will just make it as a like if we have a cost per person, like we will be having some currency code, right? The same thing we can
Mm-hmm.
copy it to total cost, or we can hard code it like, let's say, euro. This one we have it in a repository, again, like repository explorer. All these things, like, let's say, amount, the currency code will accept only a particular. Okay, so here maybe if we have any amount field, then we will see like what all the currencies it can accept.
Does it show the domain values of it in the data types?
Yeah, that's what, like, it will show like what are all the currencies available. Maybe just show once. So all the things, like, the repository is just like a main thing in a PDI. So everything we will get it here. Like if you refer this, so you will understand the coding better. That's what. Here. So let's, like, here the customer code, right? Under the customer code, we have many things in custom. I'm not getting any field which is of price here. Yeah, maybe. So here you can see it will list all the code values which are we can use.
Okay.
So these things we can use it in our coding. Like if we want to hard code, or if we were taking from a UI, just we can use that person cost per person dot currency code here. So for now, like, we are just defining it as an euro. So whenever there is a workshop created, the total cost will be calculated based on the number of participants and the cost per person, and the currency code will default to euro. So yeah, that's all about the demo series. So once we get a system access, I can go through it and explain it further, and we will go through each concepts. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Dhanush. I think Sana is not in another meeting, so I am
Okay.
Sana. Okay, Dhanush. So Srisha, you are fine with it, right? So if any questions, you can ask Dhanush. Otherwise, we can conclude the session for the day, and Sana is going to be in touch with you.
Yeah, sure. I think I'm good. The demo is really good. Thanks, Dhanush. Um, I don't have any questions for
All right.
now. So once
All right.
we start the training, maybe I'll have a lot of questions.
Sure,
Um,
Yeah.
sure. And this is exclusive for you, so there won't be any other participant going to be there. So you can, the training can go in a way like how you want it, like which are the areas you want to majorly focus on, or which are the areas you feel like little easy to go ahead. So we can customize according to your requirements. Okay. And Dhanush, already, like, he's a very experienced consultant. Okay. And not only into the development and implementation projects, but also training the participant. Like, it's not like all of the people who are having good knowledge are able to train someone else, but he's having that flair, like, understand the participant, and he'll train according to their understanding. So that's the best thing with Dhanush, I can say. Thank you, Dhanush, for your time and efforts here. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
yeah,
Thanks,
thank
Arisha.
you.
Thanks for the
Appreciate
session.
it.
Okay then. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bye.
concluding this. Thank you. Bye. Have a nice time.